information concerning the discrepancy and loss of data on archive.org. First, we're just going to look at archive today and see what we can find. Now, there are 3 things you can type in, 4 actually, but 3 we're going to bring up mostly, that you can type in when you look up a page like WereCoverData.com or WereCoverData.com. Number 1, whether or not you use an S in front of the HTTP, or even include this entire first part. Second part is the www dot, which has an effect on whether or not it records it. Lastly, after the .com, whether or not you use what I used to call the port 80 trick. And sometimes if you explicitly tell a web server to let you look at a page through port 80, it gives you a different version. See also, I have a video from a long time ago about a certain pizza joint in Washington, D.C. people were lying about, and I used this trick to find out that people were lying about it, including the person who went to that location and did something violent. No, really, seriously, that was a lot of bullshit for me to fucking fix. And I got death threats over it, by the way. But anyway, so we have port 80, whether or not we use www dot, and whether or not we use HTTPS, and last, whether or not we add in the asterisk, otherwise known as the asterisk, as I like to call it. Now, here we are. We're looking at it with the S, without the W, and with an asterisk, but no port 80. So almost 16 combinations we can do. Now, here we go with it. WereCoverData's main page only, even though we got an asterisk to show us more. Well, it does. The only thing it brings up is the public statement that, honestly, seriously, you guys doubled down? Seriously? Did you work at Blizzard but hardly mention it? Anyway, let's move on. This is from July 2026. And again, if you saw this stuff on archive.org, you have to archive the archives in order for the archives to really archive. Archive.org is notorious for erasing stuff simply because a website doesn't request it. They change a single piece of information on their website called the robots.txt file, which, if you're not aware of it, people will pedantically interpret the rules about it grammatically in a strange way so that they can lawyer up. And archive.org is a book-burning group instead of a Fahrenheit 451er because they keep obeying this non-existent presumption about archiving and robots text. Archive today doesn't obey robots text because you have to initiate it yourself. It is not a robot. That's the only reason. So let's move forward. We got a few backup copies here, and they're all just from a couple of days. And then we get, that's about it. Oh, wait a minute. There's a 2013. Yeah. Now let's move forward to the next one with a little bit more pages. We go from half a dozen or whatever to 26 archives. And we can see pretty much what you'd expect. Here's the desktop hard drive removal instructions, etc., etc. Let's look for anything interesting. Memory card and flash ones. We could go through and look at these. Hey, have you got the idea that maybe you should go to Archive today and make a backup copy? Next, we go to this one. Again, we have the same situation, and this is part of the 26 here. There's our data. How useful. Linux, Unix data recovery. Wow, I hope you don't say anything stupid. Here's some facts, or forks. Laptop recovery, etc. Now we're going to go to the next one. 35 of them. We got 1 through 20 of 35. And you'll notice something here. We got megalodon.jp backup copy. So now we got to go look through Megalodon. Yeah, and it did port 443. Oh, well, now I have to go to Megalodon and see if they redact any of this by looking up. That would be your activity. There's Megalodon, and it's one of the least useful ones on Earth. I have found that Megalodon has an amazing ability to just not work. But hey, we got one more resource. Hey, it says 4 more. And there's the robots.txt backup copies. I hate robots.txt, then so should you. Let's move on. Windows file system, file blah, 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 blah. Let's go. What? How long does data recovery take? Oh. You guys did emergency services and charged someone emergency costs for taking 4 months to do a data recovery. I saw that review. Let's move on. Here's some more pages, etc. There's the map. Someone should have been able to get the archives of this sort of stuff from archive.org and put it on this site. Now that's 35. Now we go to 85. Now you'll notice between the two of them, we went from HTTPS with no www dot, and now we have both of them. And Wonder what would happen if we use one of the port numbers or all of the port numbers to check. Because you have to manually type in all the port numbers. Because we can't do a wildcard. So let's move forward. I already tried, it doesn't work. So here we see we have archives going back to 2004, 2016. There's a 2013 in here somewhere. I've lost track of it. There's a bunch of them that are old. And specifically, you might have noticed archive.org was archiving them and has only recently erased them. And someone apparently made a backup copy of these pages. So let's go forward a little bit. Here we go with some more pages. Most of these are done July 16th, 15th, 25th, stuff like that. Recent backup copies. And again, you got some port numbers to mess with, and you can even do megalodon. Okay, let's move on. Data Shark. Let's see here. Super Shark. Let's go forward, and a little farther down. We go a little further down, and here we are at the last set. Okay. And that's got 2020 in it. Now we can look here, and there's the first archive, 2004, and I'm going to point out something interesting. At the bottom, they're only featuring 2 reviews. And it's basically that they worked out in New York. That's what they're saying here, or at least they did more work in New York, because the only 2 reviews they have are for a company called Vidipax and UNICEF. UNICEF, by law, has to keep data records and vet people who do data recovery because it's legally required. Even back in 2004, they would have been compelled to, because I don't know if anybody's ever heard of this. If you've never seen my channel, you may not know this. I used to be a data recovery person and worked under other data recovery people and groups. I was referred to as a ChjrC data recovery geek in Portland and other cities and other states. And I will tell you that going through the paperwork, whenever you had to deal with not UNICEF, but other NGOs, etc., basically the background check you get to the FBI. So I guarantee you, if they claim this, they would have had to turn in information, and UNICEF has a backup copy of it, and they won't delete it because they don't have a reason to. Let's move on. 2013. At the bottom, the same 2 reviews, but hey, it says there's more. But you're still featuring the oldest ones? One of them is a company people probably haven't heard of, Vidipax. Maybe they do know about it, but I doubt it. Let's go on to the next one. Now we're many years later, 2016. Same 2 main reviews on the top of the list. Okay. Let me go to this one. This one is for 2016 again, and let's see, yep, same thing. Now you also notice that we have Facebook and Twitter references, but on some of the pages, we'll go down here and we just don't see that other one that was the chat. Hey, we have page 1 and 2. And 4. But anyway, let's go here. That stupid chat. And let's get, scroll. Okay, here we are. There's 2016. Now, let's go to this one. This one is from July 16th. Not necessarily the oldest or newest one, obviously. Location info for a location in Beaverton, Oregon on Bethany Boulevard. And it refers to it as the Bethany location instead of the Beaverton location. I've seen that in a couple of other pages. I'm not going to show them, but you get the idea. And it has 9 a.m. to what looks like 4 p.m., which is interesting. And it's closed on Saturday and Sunday. Okay, so it's normal business hours open, and it's at Suite 200. For those of you who don't know, in most buildings, your suite won't be a round number for that. Number 2 means the floor. Second floor, 0th location indicates lobby. It indicates the person who receives your mail and puts it into your mailbox. Because you don't have a physical location, it's literally a mailbox. You're working out of a mailbox. But hey, we've got all of these here. We got here we go. We got Boeing listed. Okay. We got UNICEF, Vidpax. You added Boeing. Time and date stamp? Nothing. Okay. Phase blowout. Something, and something. All 5 stars. You know, that's actually not that uncommon. Most data recovery companies will get 5 stars because, honestly, you either recover everything or you fail and people hate you. So let's move on. 1500 Northwest Bethany Boulevard, Suite 200 in this format with the spaces before and after the expression, because we don't want Suite 2000 somehow, because that could happen, and we don't want something like 11500 Northwest Bethany. We want 1500. When we scroll down, we find mental health resources, office space for rent at Easy Offices, Severinson Law Firm, Therapy, psychiatric help, private office for 4 at Regis. Private office for 4, that's a contradiction. Data recovery Beaverton, there we are. Deadbolt forensics with Michael. I have that email in my inbox someplace. Anyway, let's move on. Mental health services Beaverton. Bright Minds training. And then more pages. It doesn't even bother listing the pages because reasons. Now we go here. This is Easy Offices, and it says location available. And I'm going to do a simple quick check. 2-4. I don't have 2-4. Anyway. Break areas. I don't know why they call it breakout, but break areas. Business lounge, major transport links are available. Vending machines, meeting rooms, and seating in town centers nearby. Air location, how to get there from the airport. Standard. So it's $270 per person per month to have co-working desks where you share a desk. You timeshare it. And for office space, practical space for teams of all sizes, per person per month, it costs you $315. I'm not saying I use this building as a place to live at any time. I'm saying I've done very similar because some of them are 24/7 and you can come in at night or sleep. And if it's daytime, you can just close the shades and sleep for 8 hours and leave. It's $315 and you have access to a bathroom. It's warm. It's clean. It's safe. You're between apartments, storage facility up the road. Just saying. Okay. So, yeah, our happy customers, related locations, blah, blah, blah. Quick links. Okay, so there we go with that data. And, let me hit the magic number here. 2-4? Nope. Okay, so no 2-4. No 24/7 access. Then we go here. We have New Office America. And I'm just going to hit the magic number 2-4. 24-hour access at the location. That means you can go there and sleep and get away with it. $300 per month per person for serviced offices. That's cheaper than rent. They tell you can't stay there, but if you fall asleep at your desk while you're waiting for something to compile on your computer, all I did was just run a 3D render video that I got off of YouTube. It worked. If they looked in, they just saw me re-rendering the same game level from Unreal Engine. That's plausible deniability. But not this location. I would never swear that I was there because that would be a violation of rules and regulations. Anyway, let's move on. Quite easy access address in Beaverton. Okay, and then there's the location, and it tells you nearby within 2 minutes or 3 minutes you can get access to anything you need. Sports care physical, health and fitness, dojo app, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. If you're not aware of it, there's a place you can go, you sign up for, and you get a shower, and you can work out. Let's go on. This is the location. Suite 200 means second floor, and if it's Suite 200, the 00 normally indicates that you're talking to the reception desk. That means you get your little inbox, and they don't actually know which room. It's a suite. It's the whole floor. And they base it on, in care of Suite 200, Layer 200, or Floor 200, and they just use your business name and put it in a mailbox. You can also look up mailbox locations. I've done this to go after people who tried to give themselves a fancy office location and said they were physicists working for NORAD, and it was just some guy running out of a fly-by-night building as well. Public statement and correction, July 24th, right after everybody started archiving. Unfortunately, too late because you didn't do it the instant you knew there was archives. And here's the Wayback Machine saying, no URL has been captured because reasons. A sitemap is not available. And then when we do this, we load it up and it says it's been excluded. Has been excluded. No, it was only just recently excluded because the company changed a text file on their server, and archive.org is being pedantic about actually obeying a rule that was never meant to say burn all the books. So let's go back to the main page here. This is not addressed to Louis Rossman. I'm pointing out that, again, if you find a website and somehow stupidly it's on Megalodon or on archive.org and it hasn't been erased yet and has evidence against a company and there might be a court case or could even conceivably be one, archive that shit to archive.today.